I hear a lot about people saying like AI is going to take your job, but it's also going to open up a lot of opportunities that weren't available before. Like we're proof of that for sure.
That's Austin Buell, co-founder of Topsail.
Yeah, so my name is Austin. I'm a co-founder of Topsail. We have created a solution that has boiled the entire top of funnel from identifying who you're going to talk to all the way to first meeting booked into a single button click, simplifying the life of a seller when they're doing the outreach motion.
Was there a particular point of inspiration that caused you to work on this problem or focus on this?
100%. We had come up with a V1 and we'd got this in front of our now current CRO, who is the CEO of the EAM Sandler Group out of Michigan. And he looked at it and he goes, totally understand the value, like it. It's way too complicated. And I said, expand. And he said, make it a single button and we can have a conversation. And that's how we got to where we're at now.
That's great. How has AI enabled this solution? Like, is this something that wouldn't have previously been possible, or is it an incremental improvement for you?
Impossible from the fact that we don't have any coders on the team. And so I've been using Codex and ChatGPT to build this thing from scratch. So we're, legitimate enterprise grade level software, but all built by AI. And then I fumble my way through making sure it works until we have our CTO is not full-time, but as soon as he's full-time, he will make it even better. And then in terms of like the actual day-to-day execution, we have AI in kind of an orchestration layer. So the end user will see like the output, but they'll never directly interact with the AI. So the research that goes into that first touch point and calls that you're going to do with somebody, done by AI, but automatically done, and no configuration done by the seller or the person using it. Or we have some novel data sources that we're pulling information from, and we'll use agentic AI to gather that additional information that we wouldn't necessarily get from a sole contact vendor database that has certain pieces of info, but not the rest of it.
It's great to hear that it's enabled you to progress more rapidly and like get those kind of things done. I think, there's so much hype about like vibe coding and those kind of things, but I think there's been a great deal of enablement that's occurred. I know I personally build a lot more things now thanks to the help of AI.
Yeah, we had our first idea ever was for legal tech. And we had a bunch of interested people, but we could never afford the $250,000 bill to build the solution.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like we were stuck in this chicken and egg situation where no one wanted to give us the money before, but we knew money before. And that would have been the exact same thing that happened to us now, except AI is available. And so we can just push through and get to that first iteration, which I hear a lot about people saying like AI is going to take your job, but it's also going to open up a lot of opportunities that weren't available before. Like we're proof of that for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like I can be bullish or bearish on AI depending on what you want me to do. But I think, any significant change in technology, be it the printing press or the loom or the car, like it results in some loss of employment for some types of workers, but more often than not, it inevitably creates a whole bunch of new jobs or skill sets as well. So I remain hopeful that is what happens with AI. Shifting gears a little bit, as a startup founder, I often look to folks like you to provide advice to other startup founders because I find that peer mentorship is often more valuable than expert mentorship. What's one piece of advice you would give to somebody who might be considering starting something or who is already in the thick of building their own startup?
Just launch, effectuate, just go for it. Don't come up with any excuses and then know you're going to fail a bunch, but it's just taking your steps towards where you want to get to. And I think it's also, we recently switched over to bootstrap instead of investor funding. The direct reason being we actually found ourselves in a situation where we were going to get to revenue faster just listening to customers than listening to investors. We did this only based on hey, we're talking to our customers. They're telling us this. Investors are saying that. It doesn't line up. Let's just talk to our customers instead. And we didn't do this with intent, but we were just listening and iterating and effectuating based on what we were experiencing. And that got us where we're at. And I mean, even, that one moment where we had like the idea, it's like that we came in with a completely different idea, left with a completely different idea. And within a week, we're a completely new company that just took off immediately after that moment. So just launch, just like learn and go forward.
Kudos to you on listening to customers and coming to the realization that often investors' goals are misaligned with what a company wants to do or what customers are asking for. So I'm glad you were able to identify that early.
I would say most investors would look at us right now and be like, this is uninvestable for and just because we're doing like a very white glove, very zig, why else is zagging. We were on a call today. We're working with Sandler trainers. We're getting Sandler trained. And we were talking to them and they said, hey, be careful with the post sale, because if you're taking somebody from another vendor, that vendor is going to reach back out and try to keep them. And, Jamie and I were sitting there looking at it. And we're like, that's not going to happen to us, because every other SaaS that we compete with is faceless to the people that we're working with. So they're not going to be a person to go to and say, hey, we're leaving you. They're just going to hit cancel, and then they're going to come to us. And if they ever decide to leave us, they're going to have to come break up with us to like stop having the relationship. So if anything, like it puts us in an advantage. And I would say that again, going back to like what AI enables us to do, we can create scalability in a way that wasn't possible before. And so we can have like a high touch white glove approach to onboarding in that sense. So from an investor perspective, they would hate it. From our perspective, our customers' perspective, they love it. We're getting a ton of traction. Maybe there's a flipping point or turning point, but not now. That'd be cool.
That's good to hear. Yeah. And I mean, there is the old adage, do things that don't scale, to like figure out what the actual value point is. And it sounds like you're leaning into that heavily. In the world of AI, and things are changing day to day, if not minute to minute. What's one resource that you look to that helps either keep you up to date on what's going on or makes you a better founder? Is there something you find yourself coming to time and time again that has value to you as a founder?
Is just use it constantly every single day. I don't have time to think of the resources. I should probably be a lot more, practical and pragmatic about going out and staying up with the news. But at this point in time, I've just got a groove going, and I just stick with an unwavering commitment to OpenAI for some reason. I can't give you a good reason other than it's been working, and I don't have time to think about an alternative.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like, because I started with ChatGPT, it is kind of my go-to. I use Claude on a consistent basis if I'm doing something more programmatic, and, tap into Gemini every once in a while if I'm doing something that requires research or search. But my initial inclination is always ChatGPT. And just out of curiosity, like, are you constantly chasing new releases of the models, or do you find you get to a specific spot with the model and you kind of stick with that one?
Oh no, we got the pro accounts. Everyone internally at our org has a pro account, and then I'm always using the latest version I could possibly get my hands on. I started vibe coding back at like 3.5 or something, and it's just not even the same game anymore. And I'm just like, all right, ChatGPT is getting good enough to this point where one day I'd love to have enough time to like consider other models or other providers. But yeah, I mean, I can tell very distinctly the difference between like 5.1 and 3.5.
Yeah, that's awesome. My one founder said to me, he's like, this is the first time, and he's a developer. He said, this is the first time in my history as a developer that the product gets better without me touching it, because the underlying models are improving so much that it's just making the product better and better as time goes on. So super interesting time to be building stuff.
I have a theory that at the very beginning of the new model releases, they're still fine tuning. So they kind of push it and fine tune after. This is totally unfounded. I do feel like the first week it's like a little bumpy. And then after that, it's fantastic. But that every time I see a new number, I'm like, all right, it's going to be a rough week, but then it'll be fine. After that, again, I have no proof, but
That's awesome. I will be happy in helping to further that conspiracy theory about new models. You've been super helpful with your insights and taking time with us. So I kind of want to turn the tables and ask, how can we be most helpful to you and the company you're building?
if you know any salespeople that are looking to simplify their outbound and want to increase their top of funnel productivity, we're always open to conversations. I mean, we're at that stage in our startup where we're like just trying to get more and more traction every single day.
Do you have a startup story to tell? I would love to hear from you.